Good morning, y'all. My name is JR, and I'm the Physics pastor at the West Campus. Shout out to my Westies. Thank you guys for joining us. If you have a Bible, please go ahead and turn to 2 Corinthians. We're going to be in chapter 5, reading verses 1 through 10. So go ahead and follow along with me. It says this: "For we know that when this earthly body we live in is taken down, that is, when we die and leave our bodies, we will have a house in heaven, an eternal body made for us by God himself and not by human hands. We grow weary in our personal and present bodies, and we long to put on our heavenly bodies like new clothing. For we will put on heavenly bodies. We will not be spirits without bodies. And while we live in these earthly bodies, we groan and sigh. But it's not that we want to die and get rid of these bodies that clothe us. Rather, we want to put on our new bodies so that these dying bodies will be swallowed up by life. God himself has prepared us for this, and as a guarantee, he has given us his Holy Spirit. So we are always confident, even though we know that as long as we live in these bodies, we are not at home with the Lord. For we live by faith and not by sight. Yes, we are fully confident, and we would rather be away from our earthly bodies, because then we would be at home with the Lord. And so whether we are here in this body or away from this body, our goal is to please him. For we must all stand before Christ to be judged. We will each receive whatever we deserve for the good or evil we have done in this earthly body." So guys, here we have Paul, and he's talking to us about our earthly bodies and our heavenly bodies. And what he wants us to know is that we are not made for this earth, right? He says it in verse 6. He says, as long as we live in these earthly bodies, we are not at home with the Lord. And so there's this sense to which the place we live in is temporary, right? We live in a world that is corrupted by sin, that results in death, right? People get sick, people lie, people cheat, people steal, people get old, people get worn out, pandemics happen. This was not God's ultimate design for ourselves, right? We live in these temporary earthly bodies, and what he says is that, man, because we live in these earthly bodies that we weren't eternally designed for, we walk by faith and not by sight. Very interesting. What does it mean to walk by faith and not by sight? You see, I think the analogy here is clear that on this side of heaven, we don't have the opportunity to walk by sight. In other words, we don't have the luxury of experiencing Jesus in person in the same way we will in heaven. And we don't get to know exactly the way our lives are going to be or the way our lives are going to turn out. And so because of that, there's a constant element of trust in our relationship with Jesus where we don't always know where we're going. We have to walk by faith in step with him every day. Now, one day we get to walk by sight, but until we reach that side of eternity, we have to walk by faith in this intimate relationship with God. And when I think of walking by faith and not by sight, my mind immediately thinks of God as a shepherd. God is our good shepherd, as a father to us, and I'm a sheep, right? And I think of my shepherd, getting me up in the morning saying, all right, it's time for us. We're going to move on down the path. I've got a green pasture that I'm leading you to. And I, as a sheep, I don't know where that pasture is. I don't know how to get there. In fact, I couldn't, even if I wanted to. But my shepherd knows. And so walking by faith means that I'm entrusting myself to God. And when he says, all right, get up, it's time to go down the road, I don't exactly know where he's leading. I don't get to walk by sight, but I can hear the voice of my shepherd saying, come this way, don't stray away from me. We're going in this direction. And so maybe you found yourself in a loss. Maybe you have a big situation in front of you where you're at a point of decision or you don't exactly know what to do. Maybe you're unsure of a few things. And I know that's a hard place to be. I know it's a place we've all been in, but I think the scriptures want us to be assured that it's a good thing that we walk by faith, right? It's a good thing that we serve a God who wants to be in this close relationship with us. And that it's only through staying near to him that we're going to be able to make the right decisions that he has for us. We have to remain fully dependent on him. And so my prayer for you today is that you would take to heart the fact that we walk by faith and be glad that we're in relationship with a God who wants to keep us close to him. Thank you guys for joining this morning. We'll see you next week.